Good thing I got my heated jacket on from Solving. I gotta be careful because we got a long day being outside and bottle filling, so I don't want to drain the battery down too fast. Like, what battery is gonna die first, my phone battery or the jacket battery? Oi, either way we can recharge it all. But we are back, creating more alternate timelines while we were waiting for bottles to fill, or them to need bottles, I should say. What are we gonna create today? Yesterday was pretty funny when we did the Vikings and the fast food wars. Gosh, my beard's all jacked up. I was kind of running late this morning, so I just jumped out. I mean, I was up since 5, but I just like got up and got going and didn't even brush out my beard or anything. So that was kind of a little annoying. Thankfully, we have a beard brush with us. Golly. I don't want to throw out my bunker pants just yet because they're heavy and they're annoying and you feel like you know when you wear like jeans inside of in like a pool or something, they just feel so wet and weighing you down. Like that's my overall opinion about wearing bunker pants. We got a lot of bottles to fill today. Or we're going to have a lot of bottles, I should say. And I forgot my headphones too. Gosh, I'm off to a rough start. At least I did bring a good lunch. Or a big lunch, that's important. I need a better beard brush. Or comb. Better comb for on the go. Just using my phone as a freaking mirror right now. Okay, I hope everyone saw my last video of the rocket launch and yesterday's vlog. My video about the my Garmin watch being all jacked up, that's getting a lot of freaking views. I think it hit over 300 the last time I checked. So that's cool. I've been in constant communication with Garmin, like, what the heck's going on? And they're like, oh, who knows, send us the file. And I'm like, well, so I tried following all their steps of how to send the file, and my computer wouldn't even recognize it. So if they're like, oh, Max, you're gonna need a PC. I'm like, well, that's not an option for me. I'm not gonna go out and buy a PC just to make your product work. Sorry, I'm a Mac user. I mean, that's not really a solution for me, you know? Gosh. Got a big old beard. Hey Beast, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in, being the first person to comment. That's super cool. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Oh, look at that, you already did. Oh no, Charlie's collar's on 10%. That sucks. Sorry, Charlie, I'm at work right now, buddy, or else I would put your collar on the charger. What kind of alternate timeline are we going to create today, gang? Yesterday we made one where it started out with the Vikings had access to modern day weaponry. And then the wolf was like, hey, have him go against Ronald McDonald. And so then Ronald McDonald was like this evil character, and then the Burger King came in, and then he's like, have Colonel Sanders fight with the Vikings. So then that happened, and then Colonel Sanders ended up going completely AWOL and poisoned all the Vikings. So I'm curious what we're gonna come up with today. I'm just at work right now waiting for the action to start. So I was like, oh shoot, we got some time. Why don't we go live and see what everyone's up to today? Hopefully you got your coffee or your water, whatever you're drinking. Yeah, I can't think of anything just yet. Actually, hey, thanks, Screwed Up. Appreciate that. I've never heard that one before. Usually, a lot of people call me Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. But while we're waiting for some ideas, let's come up with I got one for you guys. Create a timeline where California actually breaks off from the USA. Like everyone. Oops. I got this one. Everyone says it will eventually. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, if you're new here or not, but I'm over here on the central coast of California. And so everyone always talks about how, California's gonna break off and just float into the ocean. So I just typed that in. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. I thought, I just typed it in, that, the state will actually, physically break off, right? And so it's creating it right now. We'll get into it after it loads up here. But it says, this timeline explores the hypothetical scenario in which California physically and politically separates from the United States, leading to the formation of an independent nation. Oh, wow, okay. Well, let me grab my glasses really quick before my eyes get oh, dang, look at the rain. It's really coming down right now. Awesome. I work outside. I mean, I'm inside right now, but I work outside. So it's going to be a wet one today. Okay. Are you ready for this? So 2025 to 2030. And Beast too, if you want to just comment, whatever you think, wherever the timeline should go next, by all means, throw it in the chat, guys. Anyone can, that's up for anyone. Wherever you guys want this timeline to go, put it in the chat and we'll take it there. So in 2025 to 2030, growing political and economic tensions. 2025, California, frustrated with federal policies on climate change, immigration, and taxation, intensifies talks of secession. The Cal exit movement gains momentum. 2026, a series of severe wildfires and record-breaking droughts led to widespread dissatisfaction with federal disaster relief efforts. The California government established an independent emergency response system, further distancing itself from Washington, D.C. 2027, Silicon Valley's tech giants, frustrated with federal regulations, start backing the idea of an independent California. A coalition of corporations, environmentalists, and activists forms the California Independence Council, the CIC. 2028, a ballot measure for a non-binding... Hey, One Life Man. Thanks for joining the chat. I appreciate the beard compliment. A ballot measure for a non-binding independence referendum, Prop 60, passes with 58% support. While legally meaningless, it stirs national controversy. 2029, tensions between California and federal agencies escalate as the state refuses to comply with certain national mandates. The U.S. threatens financial penalties, while California begins setting up parallel institutions, such as the State Bank of California, to handle tax revenue independently. 2030, this is where it gets good. A devastating 9.1 magnitude earthquake hits the San Andreas Fault. The federal government's slow response further fuels resentment. California takes charge of its own disaster response and reconstruction, strengthening its push for self-sufficiency. 2031 to 2040, succession and physical breakoff begin. 2031, the California legislature votes in favor of a formal succession referendum, setting the stage for a constitutional crisis. The federal government refuses to acknowledge the move. 2032, the California independence referendum takes place, with 62% voting in favor, California's governor declares a state of sovereign republic. The U.S. government refuses to recognize the declaration, leading to a tense standoff. 2033, as negotiations stall, California ceases sending federal tax revenue to Washington. The National Guard is deployed to enforce compliance, but the California Defense Force, CDF, is formed, consisting of former state police, firefighters, and volunteers. 2035, the situation reaches a boiling point. A massive seismic event along the San Andreas Fault causes parts of California, particularly along the coast, to detach from the North American plate. Los Angeles and San Francisco are now islands, and California is literally breaking away. 2026, the U.S. government, realizing it cannot maintain control over a geographically and politically fragmented California, reluctantly begins exit negotiations. 2037, the Treaty of Sacramento is signed. California becomes the independent Republic of California. The U.S. retains military bases in inland California, but federal agencies leave. 2040, California is now an independent nation. Massive engineering projects begin to stabilize the land as San Francisco and Los Angeles become floating megacities connected by hyperloops and high-speed sea transport. So this is now we're getting to the 2041 to 2050, the aftermath and global position. In 2042, the Republic of California enters the United Nations, becoming a world leader in renewable energy, AI development, and high-tech infrastructure. In 2045, California issues its own currency, the Cali Coin. That's fun to say. Backed by tech industry revenues, Silicon Valley becomes the world's most powerful economic hub, rivaling China. In 2048, California's government works on reunification efforts for areas still attached to mainland North America, creating a series of island city-states. Meanwhile, parts of Southern California drift further into the Pacific. In 2050, California, now a Pacific powerhouse, signs a strategic alliance with Japan, South Korea, and Australia, positioning itself as a global superpower. The United States, still recovering from the economic shock of losing its largest state, begins discussions about reestablishing relations with its former territory. So in conclusion, what started as a political disconnect ended in both a literal and political separation of California from the United States. Now an ultra-modern, technologically advanced nation, California thrives as an independent republic while the U.S. struggles to adjust to life without its most populous and economically powerful state. Would you move to the Republic of California or stay in the United States? I'd stay in the Republic of California. That sounds awesome. I think that's a power move, right? I'm a huge Chad Bianco supporter for governor. You know, we need to get Gavin Newsom out, and I pray that Kamala Harris does not become King Gavin, governor of California. You'd stay in the United States? Okay. Beast, where are you watching from? Are you watching from California, or are you watching somewhere else? What would happen? I wonder what would happen to, would Arizona and Nevada develop ocean coastlines? Question mark. Because you know, if you think of California breaking off, like, does that mean Nevada and Arizona are gonna have beaches? Like, that's interesting. Yes, if California were to physically break away from the mainland due to seismic activity, Arizona and Nevada would suddenly gain coastlines along the newly formed California Sea or Pacific Gulf. Here's how it would play out. Arizona and Nevada's coastline, new coastal features. Oh, sorry, I got a burp. Geographical changes. Arizona, the southwestern part of the state, Yuma and surrounding regions would now border the ocean. The area, once a desert, could transform into a major port hub, with Phoenix becoming a thrivable coastal city. Interesting. Nevada, Las Vegas, once landlocked, would be a short drive from the new shoreline. The Nevada coast could host casinos, resorts, and deep water ports, making it a new international trade center. Hey, if you just mind shooting me a text whenever you think I should pull the air light out, that'd be awesome. Thank you, sir. No, I'm cool. Economic impact. Las Vegas turns into Vegas Beach. The city would likely capitalize on its new ocean access, building luxurious beachfront resorts and a casino-lined boardwalk. That's okay. That'd be kind of cool. I could jive with that. Arizona becomes the new maritime hub. Cities like Yuma. Hey, Roach, what's up, dude? We're just creating alternate timelines, and today we started going down the rabbit hole of if California actually like physically broke off from the state or from the nation. Like it usually, everyone's always like, "Oh, California is gonna fall into the ocean one of these days." So that's the timeline we've created. Where am I here? Real estate boom. Coastal property values in Nevada and Arizona skyrocket as investors flood the market to develop new beach towns. Climate and environmental effects. New weather patterns. Arizona and Nevada, previously known for dry desert climates, would experience increased humidity, coastal storms, and potentially even hurricanes. Agricultural shift. The new coastline could lead to desalination plants, transforming once barren areas into fertile farmland. Political and military implications. The U.S. Navy relocates its Pacific operations to Arizona and Nevada, making them a key strategic points. The West Coast cultural shift expands into Arizona and Nevada, potentially making them more politically aligned with California's former policies. Bigger question, what happens to California? If California truly breaks off, it might float westward, creating an independent California archipelago of islands. The gap between California and the new U.S. coastline would become a new sea, similar to the Mediterranean or the Gulf of Mexico. In conclusion, Arizona and Nevada would instantly become coastal states, transforming from desert landscapes to oceanfront powerhouses. This could lead to a wild new era where Vegas has beachfront resorts, Phoenix becomes a major port city, and the U.S. Pacific coast stretches through 2 states no one ever expected to touch the ocean. That's wild. Did you guys know that there's actually a Coast Guard station, hub, base? I'm not sure what the correct terminology here is for it, but they actually have one in Utah, and it's on the Great Salt Lake. And I tried looking it up, but it's actually more of like they kind of just assist with the Utah, not like fish and game, but basically they just help out with like the cops there, patrolling and doing stuff on the Great Salt Lake. Nice. Okay, so that makes sense, you know, right? Because like West Virginia is a you have the ocean there, right? Oh wow. Okay, wait a second. Never mind, Roach. I apologize. I should probably look up. It's nice being on 2 different devices right now, so I could look up stuff. For some reason, I thought West Virginia was. Why did I thought West Virginia was like on the coast? Yeah. Okay. No, never mind. I'm way off here. You're right. It's landlocked. Interesting. So what is the what does the Coast Guard do or provide for you in West Virginia? Harper's Ferry. Let's see where that is. Oh, you got the Potomac River going through there. Okay. Interesting. That looks like a massive river. Nice. I've never actually been to West Virginia on a road trip. We went from Clear Cross on the what is that road? The 10? Oh, the 70. So we went on the 70 all the way through, and so I went to Kansas City, Illinois, Kentucky, and then dropped down from Kentucky into Tennessee, and then from Tennessee we went to North Carolina and then South Carolina, and then just zip back around that way. So missed Virginia. Kentucky was cool though. What a road trip, man. Tell you what. But I'd like to get to Virginia, West Virginia, all of those like states over there. That'd be awesome. Like I was saying, it's so cold. Oh, the clouds are breaking up a little bit here. Yeah, it's supposed to rain here they said from 6 p.m. all the way till tomorrow, right? But then as soon as I got to work this morning, it started just coming down, and then now it's been heavy sprinkling here and there. Scattered showers, I guess is... No, I'm actually in California. Clinton, Texas. Yeah, I'm on the central coast of California, Roach. That's why we talked about, or created the timeline of California broke off. Let's see, would California fall into the ocean? Okay, here we go. So I'm just putting all these prompts into ChatGPT. That's where, if you guys are wondering how I'm coming up with all this stuff, I'm just reading what ChatGPT says to me based on these prompts. No, California wouldn't just fall into the ocean. Texas, you might go to Texas or California. Both are really nice. I really appreciate Texas. But where I live, Roach, I live right where they launch all the SpaceX rockets from in California. I can see them from my roof. That's where I live. Nice. Very cool. Okay, Oregon's beautiful too. I've been to all those except I haven't been to Alaska. I'd like to go one day. It'd be cool to see the Northern Lights, right? So it's saying California wouldn't just fall into the ocean like many people think. However, if it were to break away from the mainland due to seismic activity, it would be due to tectonic plate movement, not sinking. What would actually happen? California sits on the San Andreas Fault, which is a strike-slip fault, meaning the Pacific Plate is slowly sliding northwest past the North American Plate. This kind of fault does not cause land to sink or fall into the ocean, but could eventually cause parts of California to detach and drift away over millions of years. More seismic scenarios. California as an island chain. If major earthquakes rupture fault lines and trigger massive floodings, parts of California could become isolated islands, like a new version of the Channel Islands off the coast. The Central Valley might flood and form an inland sea, dividing the state into multiple land masses. Tectonic shift creates a California rift. If the San Andreas Fault fractures significantly, it could create a large rift valley similar to the East African Rift. Water from the Pacific Ocean would rush in, effectively splitting California from the U.S. The Pacific Plate drags California north. Over millions of years, movement along the Pacific Plate will slowly pull California toward Alaska rather than into the ocean. Okay, we're going up to Alaska now. Myth versus reality. Myth. California will fall off or sink into the Pacific. Reality. Parts of California could separate, flood, or drift away very slowly over geological time. In conclusion, if California were to break off, it wouldn't sink. It would either become a new island or form a massive new bay, while Arizona and Nevada becoming coastal states. However, this would take hundreds of thousands to millions of years, not something that would happen overnight after a big earthquake. We have earthquakes. There was just one, not here, like an hour and a half away from me, just the other day. But it wasn't anything like significant. The biggest one I've been in here since I've lived here my whole life. The biggest one it was like a 7.0, and that was pretty gnarly. You could see like the ground going up like this and just everything like shaking. That was pretty wild. But honestly, like if you talk to other people from other states, they talk about how scary earthquakes are, and it's like, it's just a little shaken. I would much rather have earthquakes than hurricanes and all of that stuff. You see it on the East Coast, like in Florida and stuff like that, and like those places just get wiped out because of hurricanes and all the flooding, and it's really heartbreaking. Here it just shakes for a little bit and we're good. We move on. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Golly. While we're here, why don't we just give a plug to the merch store? Let me pull it up. Yeah, I bet. It is really weird too. And I heard that animals can detect them from animals can detect them coming. So then they go and hide. Thank you so much. What's my log? Whew. I just made a new windbreaker design and uploaded that yesterday. Golly. Welcome to the sneezing live stream. So if you guys want to, if you're feeling spindy, oh my gosh, my allergies have been acting a fool. Have you guys heard about this guy? He's a YouTuber. His name was Desert Drifter, and he got into a serious car accident. He was just at a red light, like a little bit. Hey Gage, Clint. You're going down to the thicket today? Nice, that's gonna be exciting to watch. But there was this guy named Desert Drifter, and he was just a few turns away from his house waiting. He was coming back on an adventure, and he was sitting at a red light, and a drunk driver rear-ended him and just totally ruined his car, ruined him. He ended up he was on life support, and the other day they finally, unfortunately, pulled him off of life support. Right. Good message. There we go. Golly, my nose is running more than I've been running lately. But yeah, that's my merch store. If you guys want to check it out, that'd be greatly appreciated. No, they ended up taking him off life support, and golly, he passed away, right? But yeah, he was just I didn't know about him until I saw the videos of him, about them talking about him. I was like, gosh, that's awful. And then so I started checking out his channel, and he made a lot of really cool videos. Just loved exploring, loved learning about nature and like Native American history and stuff like that. I'm gonna blow my nose. I'm gonna mute the mic. Okay, maybe that's better. The sun's coming out now. Well, that's good. Hopefully it stays out for a while. And when I mean a while, I mean all freaking day. So where should we take the timeline next? California's in the ocean. It's its own nation now. Arizona, Nevada are coastal cities. Las Vegas is booming. We're still in the road. You guys need something cool? Yeah, exactly. Tell your loved ones how much you love them. you know, every time I get in a car, my parents are always like, "Oh, love you," and it's like, "What?" And it's like, "Well, you never know. You could get into a car accident." Uh, as you guys know, I've been trying really hard to like really think about my impact on stuff, and so I picked up these like custom molded earplugs from Decibels. You can find them on Amazon. And yesterday I was trying them out for the first time, and I wasn't too thrilled on it, but I changed the tip part. Hey Rick, long time no see, dude. Okay, yeah. Before we get to Texas succeeding from the Union, let's see what happens to Oregon with California breaking off. Since Rick's here, so I just got these earplugs from Decibels, and today they actually worked pretty well. But I've been using these. These kind of like single use earplugs, and they're starting to lose their oomph, as you can tell. And I'm like, these things are getting a little gross. I don't really want to stick them in my ears. I really appreciate that, Rick. Yeah, those boots are pretty wild. They, you'll see it in today's video that comes out at noon. But Solfang was nice enough to let me gift those to my friend Clint. See you, Roach. Thanks for stopping by. What happens to Oregon if California breaks? Oi. Okay, so here's what happens to Oregon. If California breaks off from the mainland due to seismic activity, Oregon would experience major geographical, economic, and environmental shifts. Here's what could happen. Oregon becomes the primary West Coast state. With California gone, Oregon becomes the largest coastal state on the mainland U.S. Portland, can't talk very well. Portland, already a major port city, would explode in importance as it absorbs California's lost trade, tourism, and economic power. Seattle might surpass Los Angeles as the dominant Pacific Coast metropolis. Geographical and environmental changes. The new California Sea. If California drifts away, a new ocean inlet could form between Oregon and Arizona, Nevada, altering coastal weather patterns. More rain and storms. The Pacific Ocean's influence would push more humidity and precipitation inland, possibly leading to stronger winter storms. Cascadia subduction zone effects. If the San Andreas Fault triggers massive quakes, it could destabilize the Cascadia subduction zone, leading to a mega earthquake and tsunami risk for Oregon's coast. Oregon gets a population boom. Many Californians would relocate north to Oregon, drastically increasing the populations of cities like Portland, Eugene, and Bend. Real estate prices skyrocket as refugees from the former California fled the state. Sorry, Oregon. Southern Oregon cities like Medford and Ashland become coastal towns, or at least much closer to the ocean. Economic and political impact. Silicon Valley influence moves north. Without California, tech giants like Apple, Google, and Tesla may relocate to Oregon or Washington. Wine country shifts. With Napa and Sonoma's status uncertain, Oregon's Willamette Valley wine industry could take over as the U.S.'s major premier wine region. More federal funding. With California no longer sending taxes to Washington, D.C., Oregon might receive more federal attention and funding. Military and infrastructure shifts. U.S. Navy and military bases relocate. With California on the Navy's Pacific Fleet and other military installations would shift to Oregon, Washington, and possibly Nevada/Arizona. Highways and trade routes change. Interstate 5, which runs from Mexico to Canada, would have a huge gap where California used to be. Oregon would need to restructure its transportation networks. Conclusion, Oregon would become the new California, sort of. Pros, more coastline, more economic power, better tourism, and stronger infrastructure. Cons, overcrowding, higher real estate prices, increased risk of earthquakes/tsunamis, and a strain on resources. Oregon would rise in importance, but the massive geological and economic shift would bring decades of challenging and rebuilding. Right? I forgot what, Chiloquin? Oregon, I think that's where I was. I can't remember if I'm saying that correctly or not. But I was up there just cruising around, going to a little liquor store in my Jeep, and these two homeless people were like, they saw my plate and they're like, F California, and started flipping me off and chasing my Jeep. And I'm just like, what the heck, dude? That's crazy. What did I ever do to you guys? I'm just here visiting. I'm here contributing to your taxes. So let's put in the volcano now and see what happens. I don't think that's... Let's see how we spell it. How do you spell it? Yeah, right. Every time I put in Colbert volcano, Stephen Colbert pops up. C-O-L-B-E-R-T. I think I tried. Okay. Oh, okay. It's Calvert. C-A-L-V-E-R-T. That's okay. What would happen if the volcano erupted? So Rick and Clint, if you're just tuning in now, I'm okay. Well, it just took the storyline to it just corrected me. ChatGPT gaslights me sometimes. And it says, if you meant a major volcanic eruption in California, we're getting America's first geothermal location like 10 miles from me. Oh, interesting. That's pretty wild. So this is saying that if it erupted like Mount Shasta or Lassen Peak. So immediate effects of a major eruption: massive ash cloud, a VEI-6 or VEI-7 eruption like Mount St. Helens or Yellowstone would launch ash miles into the atmosphere, disrupting air travel across North America. Lava flows and pyroclastic surges. Towns near the eruption site would be buried in ash and lava, similar to Pompeii. Earthquakes and aftershocks. The eruptions could trigger major seismic activity along fault lines, possibly accelerating the breakoff of California. California's fate. Infrastructure collapse. Highways, bridges, and power grids across California would be damaged or destroyed. Economic disaster. Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and the ports of Los Angeles and San Francisco would grind to a halt. Evacuations and refugee crisis. Millions would have to flee, overwhelming neighboring states like Nevada, Oregon, and Arizona. Global impact. Climate cooling. A volcanic eruption would release sulfur dioxide, leading to global cooling for several years. Agricultural collapse. Crops across the U.S. would fail due to asphalt and reduced sunlight, triggering food shortages. If a volcano erupted, it could reshape the West Coast forever, destroying cities, altering global climate, and potentially accelerating California's physical separation from the U.S. Would it be the final push that breaks California off into the Pacific? Maybe. But I thought this volcano was in I thought it was in Kansas. Real C-A-N-O. Kansas. Major volcanoes in the USA. Maybe we'll see. Let's search it that way. Gilbert and Grayskins. Gosh, there's a lot of volcanoes here in the United States. They're Oh, that's just in Alaska. Holy moly. Okay, 18 of the most active volcanoes in the US. I've been to Mount Baker. I've seen the lava flow in, I've seen Mount St. Helens too. But when, okay, can you guys hear that? It's like a fighter jet flying over. Gosh, my stool is, right? Okay, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, Clint. I've been to Yellowstone too. Beautiful, absolutely incredible. But this is like a little sidetrack conversation here. Right? Well, Rick, I mean, you know where I live, Rick. So like we just had a test on that, our nuclear defense missiles here like a few weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe more. So I'm not really too worried about North Korea coming. And if they do, we'll just shoot them right out of the sky, right? But so this is the importance about giving everyone the time of day, like regardless of what they do for work. You know, like just don't look down on anyone. Who cares? You know, be friendly to everyone. And I became really good friends with the custodian here at the college, and we chatted up a lot. And he kind of told me an interesting fact that I was like, oh, I didn't really realize that. I never put 2 and 2 together. But he was telling me, he's like, do you ever notice there's a lot more air traffic going in and out of the military base when it's super cloudy? And I was like, what? And then so I stopped to think about it. I was like, oh, that makes total sense. You know, with like satellites and everything, you know, like we're spying on people with satellites, and, you know, they're spying on us too. So obviously they're going to be moving a lot more air traffic when there's cloud coverage. And sure enough, it's super cloudy today. And I just saw on one of the news things, they just they had a bunch of F-18s land at the airport over by us to refuel, and it's like, oof, of course. So that sounded like a fighter jet for sure. So Clint, last night's rocket, that was a Falcon 9. So that's a commercial rocket. Yeah, I totally believe that, Rick. Totally. Have you ever seen the videos? I'm getting distracted. But there's the videos where like planes are, like military aircraft are flying or shooting off like rockets and stuff, and they just show the money. Like it takes off and it's like, it's on the ground and it says like $0, and they fire it up, and you know, like the dollar amount just starts rising and rising, and it takes off, and it's like, by the time it's in the air, it's like $100,000 already. But so last night's rocket was actually, oops. Springs launch. It was a Falcon 9, and it was the mission was to do, it was a Sphere X punch. Yeah, here it is. So NASA released a. That's very true. That is very, very true. I totally agree with that. NASA launched a satellite to see. They want to see how the. I guess I'll just tell you what it says here. Sphere X is a planned 2-year astrophysics mission to survey the sky in the near infrared light, which, though not visible to the human eye, serves as a powerful tool for answering cosmic questions involving the birth of the universe and the subsequent development of galaxies. It will also search for water and organic molecules, essentials for life as we know it, in regions where stars are born from gas and dust, known as stellar nurseries, as well as disks around the stars where new planets could be forming. So that was what last night's rocket launch was for. And then the ones for our missile defense are called the Minuteman launches. Boy. Yeah, we have some of the best fighter pilots in the world, right? Like most experienced, most dialed, just most badass ones, right? See you, Clint. Have fun out there in the thicket. I'll see you in an hour and a half, right? You said you're going live at 2:30. Yeah, 2:30. So in an hour and a half, I'll see you over there. And then Rick, I'll only be streaming for another like 14 minutes or so. Because then I stop at an hour. It also takes forever for my phone to upload. You know what's funny? I would love to know if your best friend Bill, is, because you're older than me, right? And so my best friend from high school, his dad was Bill, and he worked on base too as a rocket scientist, right? And then once he retired, he moved up to Oregon. So the chances of maybe that being the same Bill. Mikey Pitts, what's up, dude? Long time no see. It's a small world, right? And especially when you told me where you're from originally and then moved up to Oregon, it's like, you never freaking know. And I wasn't, oh, this Bill lives in Ventura. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, that'd be wild if we knew the same person. Boy, it is so cold. And I'm just complaining. And I have my bunker pants right over there that I could throw on, but then I gotta take off my jacket to put the suspenders on, and I'm just trying to delay it as long as possible. So what do you guys want to talk about for the last 11 minutes here? California's broken off. Oregon, Nevada, and Arizona are major coastal cities now. I mean, Oregon already was a coastal city, but you know what I mean. Okay. What happens to the price of tea in China? Interesting. Okay. It's loading it up right now, but this should be good. Last night, my girlfriend and I were coming back, and I was just I was just in the car, and I was like, would you consider ChatGPT to be called binary? Because it's just made up of O's and ones, right? Like it's a computer program. And I asked it that, and it's like, it even told me I was funny. It's like, haha, that's a really funny way to look at it, but I'm just an AI program, so I don't consider myself non-binary or binary. But technically you could call me binary, but not in the literal sense. I just thought that was funny. So if California breaks off, and the world is thrown into chaos, Yeah, it's interesting. It's I consider myself like a pretty moderate person as far as political stuff goes, but it has no problem talking crap on the right side, and really defends the left. It's pretty wild. And I'm like, wait a second, I thought you were just an AI program. How can you be biased one way or the other? And it's like, well, the writers, whoever the coders, must be swinging one way, right? So the price of tea in China would be affected in several ways if California breaks off. Supply chain disruptions. If California's ports like Los Angeles and Long Beach are destroyed or cut off, global trade shuts down. Shipping routes shift, making it harder for Chinese tea exports to reach the US and other markets. Global economic impact. If a supervolcano eruption causes climate cooling, China could experience shorter growing seasons, reducing tea productions. A global economic downturn could decrease demand for luxury goods like premium tea. Currency and inflation effects. If trade slows down, China's economy could devalue its currency, making Chinese goods cheaper abroad. I thought they're already pretty dang cheap, right? On the flip side, shipping delays and shortages could raise tea prices worldwide. The final verdict. If supply is disrupted but demand remains high, tea prices rise. If demand drops due to a global crisis, tea prices fall. If China floods the market to compensate, tea prices stabilize. So yes, the price of tea in China might actually change if California breaks off or a major disaster happens. Interesting. We just got this store here, or like up in Santa Maria, called Daiso, Daiso, or something like that. And all the prices of everything are in Chinese. So you have to like see the price of it and then look up at the wall for the conversion rate. And it's like, well, what the heck? Honestly, I went into that store once and I just thought it was a bunch of like crap. Like, you don't really need this kind of stuff. Like, Daiso, Daisio, I think is what it's called. Never heard of it before. My girlfriend loves it. We got anything else? Any other timelines? Oi. So right now I'm wearing the heated jacket from Soul's thing. And if you guys go to their website and see anything you like and want to order it, use code FLYING90 during checkout. And you'll actually get $8 off. It's an $8 coupon, so you get $8 off your order. And they didn't say whether or not if it was like a one-time use, like only like your first purchase or not. So I'm assuming if you use it a bunch of times, or like bought one thing at a time and then bought something else, it'll still work. So it's cool. I'm really stoked that they want to support me like that. I do officially run for them now. They're a company I run for. So we got Soulfang, Offfield, Ghost Leaves, and my barbershop also wants to sponsor me. So that's super rad. I'm really, really fortunate and appreciative of all these companies coming on board. I did decide to drop runner hats as much as I love their hats. Their crew, you basically kind of you're paying to market for them. And the last 2 years, it was basically just the price of a, yeah, well, here, let me finish this train of thought here. The last 2 years, you basically, the cost to get in was the price of a hat, right? So it was only $40, but you got a hat, a singlet, and then last year you got a hat, singlet, and a pair of socks. But then this year, they jumped up the price to $75 to get in, and you just got a hat and a pair of socks. And it's like, well, wait a second, what? And so the whole thing about being in the crew is they put up like activities for you to do, like, oh, go like our latest post and share it to your feed and all that stuff. And it's like, so wait a second, I'm paying $75 a year to market for you, all in exchange for discount codes for your products? Like, what the heck? Like, wasn't a fan of that, so I dropped out. And I don't think I still would have stayed in if they would have given a singlet too this year, but yeah, I'm not a fan. So I just silently left them. And I had all these bullet points written out because I was gonna make a video about why I left runner hats. But I just decided to silently walk away. And a lot of people, there's a message board, and a lot of people were pissed off. So I was like, good, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, okay, so Rick, this jacket does, you're right, it does need its own battery pack. But this one came with it. This one came with Solfang. And honestly, it weighs about a little more, a little less than like a deck of cards. And it even has a little pocket right here for you to ride in, which is pretty handy. So you don't really feel like it's a whole brick in your pocket. It's super lightweight, so I don't really notice it too bad. At least I definitely agree with what you're saying, but I'm pleasantly surprised with the weight of this one. Like even like standing up right now, it doesn't even fully, like you can kind of see it because I'm jumping up and down, but you don't really feel it. Yeah, it is a pretty flat one. Here, I'll show you. This is just the size of it. I'm using my phone to stream. What can I use? I don't know if you have a GoPro. This is like the size of it compared to a GoPro. What else do I have for scale here that I could use? A pair of pliers. Yeah, super itty bitty, and it's 10,000 watt hours. So that's a pretty good amount. And I was honestly thinking about taking this battery pack to go backpacking. It's so light, like you don't even really notice it. So I'm pretty happy with it. I wouldn't, honestly, like my whole goal or mindset with like product reviews and hyping up products to my audience, like I wouldn't, soon, Kelly Moore, I wouldn't recommend products or talk about them on my page just to talk about them, right? Unless I actually fully believed in them. And this jacket from Solfang, I definitely believe in. Oi. And like you saw the heated boots review, those things are sweet, but I didn't really wear them too much because I got them in Clint size to give them to him. So that'd be cool. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't purchase a heated jacket on my own. They did just give this to me for a review. Like today, it freaking sucks. Sorry for swearing. But yeah, you're right. It's where I live. It's like super cold, like a handful of times out of the entire year. So we're a pretty temporal climate, if that's how you say it correctly. It is nice though at night filming the rocket launches. It's cold at night, at least this time of year. In our spring, I heard someone call spring is just a lazy winter, and I totally agree with that. I appreciate all the hearts. Oh. But yeah, guys, this has been a great stream. We're coming down to the last minute. Ooh, you sound just like my dad. He never wears pants unless it's date night. But I'm a sissy, and so I'm bundled up constantly. If it's below 50, I'm like, oh my gosh, it is cold. It's been last night it was in the low 40s. Let me see here if it will load. Yeah, low of 46 and a high of 60 today. But it's about to get windy, really, really windy, and blow all this rain into us until tomorrow. Oh, 30-mile-an-hour winds. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in to the last few minutes here. We got one more day until the next full moon, so that's exciting. Yeah, rain today, tomorrow, Friday, and then nice on the weekend, and then Monday it's supposed to rain again. I was like, can we just have beautiful weather for forever? And ever since the time change, I've just been obsessing over moving to Arizona, where they just skip the time change. thought I just heard the rain coming right now too. Whew. Yeah, it is getting old. Well, everyone, it's been an hour now. I'm gonna let my phone charge up again, and I'm sure maybe I'll go live again when I go fill some bottles in a few. But other than that, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this long. We created an awesome timeline. That was super fun. I laughed hard. Check out my if you're super bored and still want to watch my videos. Every single day at noon Pacific Standard Time, I upload a new blog that comes out. Yesterday's timeline, we created one where the Vikings had modern day firepower, and then they ended up going on a fast food war against, Ronald McDonald, the Burger King, and then Colonel Sanders also fought, but he was on the Viking side. So that was pretty interesting and pretty funny. But yeah, I really appreciate it. As always, guys, thank you for subscribing, hitting the thumbs up button. This is the most thumbs up we've gotten in a live stream in quite a while. And so I really, really appreciate it. But until the next one, do something every single day to make yourselves better than you were yesterday. And I'll see you guys later.